Hey yo, what's up guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're gonna be talking about Eclipse on Kha Zix, when to buy it and why it's sometimes actually a viable mythic item to go for. So let's start off going with the rune page that you would go for an Eclipse page. So you'll start off taking Dark Harvest because this build is more favored towards lower elos, and in lower elos you'll hopefully get a lot of kills. And in teamfights, you'll basically be able to pop off. You can go for Electrocute if you want to with this build, since we are going for Eclipse. But I think Dark Harvest is better. We're going to take Sudden Impact, because we have an easy time proccing it with our ulti and our E. We take Eyeball Collection, because the more kills we get, the more AD. Always pretty good. And then we take Ravenous Hunter, because the other ones are shitty mods, kind of whatever. And healing, once you have some kills, is actually pretty good. Then secondary, you have actually multiple options. You can go for Precision with Triumph and Coup de Grace. This will be a typical page. If you're playing against CC, you can go for Tenacity. If you're playing against tanks, you can go for Cut Down. Or you can go for full scaling with Sorcery and do Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. And then in your normal runes, you'll take double AD and then AD or Armor, depending on what you're playing against. So yeah, this will be the scaling one, this is the standard one, this will be against tanks. So yeah, you have different options in your secondary tree. Now let's go and talk about Eclipse. So you would start off with red or blue smite depending on your jungle matchup. If you are playing with Eclipse, you're looking to duel, so most likely red smite will be the best. You go for refillable, you'll put your yellow trinket down, level 1, either aggressively or defensively, and then you'd recall, swap for your red trinket, so that it's up for your first gank. Then you would build Eclipse, and the reason why Eclipse is actually a pretty good item is because, let's say you cannot one-shot anyone on the enemy team. Let's say you're playing as a tank or a bruise jungler, and you're probably not gonna get ahead, either because the lanes are hard to gank, or they have too much peel, too much CC, too big of a frontline, whatever. Basically, something that's stopping you from getting to the enemy backline to get free kills and one-shot them. Then Eclipse is pretty good because it gives you a shield, it has some healing into it. It's a really good like dueling jungle item, so this makes you able to just hard focus on the jungle matchup itself and try and get ahead. You can play fairly aggressive with it. If someone plays aggressive into you, then you still get the shield. Maybe that can save you from getting away, or it can make you turn around the 1v1. So yeah, Eclipse is pretty good. Then in terms of boots, you can either go for Platedsteelcaps or Tab Eyes. I'll do this against AD, and then merc threats I would go against either AP or CC. Then this build is basically still a lethality build, so we're going to be looking for some lethality items. So if you're playing against something that has shields, we could go for Serpentsfang. Always really good. Sadly, Sanguine Blade is gone, so we cannot buy that item anymore. So I would say if they have shields, go for a Serpentsfang. If they don't have shields, I would say go for a ghostblade. People have been asking me what I think about Collector. I don't think Collector is needed on Kha Zix. I don't think it's that gold efficient either. I don't think generally that it's that good. And nobody really grows Umbral Glaive. And Edge of Night is a very specific item. So if you're playing against some specific CC champions, then Edge of Night can work. But I'd say in most situations you either go for Serpentsfang or Ghostblade. If they have shields, go for Serpentsfang. If they don't have shields, go for a Ghostblade. Then this will basically be like your core items. Now you have a lot of damage, you have one-shot potential, you have a strong dueling, but if you want to increase your dueling even more, let's say you're playing against someone who is fed that is AP, you can go for a Hex Shrinker. You can go for a Death Dance. If you're playing against something that has high AD, you can go for Guardian Angel. These are some more defensive items, but in some situations you do need defensive items, otherwise your champion is completely useless. So yeah, But let's say you are actually still ahead and you're playing against tanks. You can go for an LDR. Dominic's a super good item, especially against tanks. You can go for executioners against healing champions. You have many different options for your, again, 4th, 5th, and 6th item. Again, just look at the enemy team comp, figure out what they have and what items are good into it, and then just start building items specifically against the enemy team. So yeah. Now let's talk about what to evolve on Kha Zix. So in terms of what you want to evolve, at first you want to evolve your Q, because again, we are focused on dueling. The Eclipse is strong for dueling, Kha Zix is a strong duelist, and with Q evolve, he's just an even stronger duelist. So you're looking for a lot of 1v1s, you're looking to 1v1 the enemy jungler a lot, you're looking to gank the solo laners from time to time, and you can play fairly aggressive with this build, and yeah, it just all comes together once you evolve Q evolve. Then second, you want to evolve your W. Your W is really good because it gives you the slow, and it's AoE, so in team fights, you basically make sure the enemy can't escape from you, that they can't kite, they'll have a harder time engaging, and in a 1v1, it can help you both catch up to people and escape from people, so it pretty much works in every single situation, and it's just solid evolution to do second. Then your last evolve will be E, and that is, again, if you are super fed and you can one-shot, then yeah, it's always nice to be able to one-shot someone and then be able to reset after getting a kill, either onto a different target or out of the team fight. So yeah, those will be your evolution order. So pros and cons of the build. The pros are you're super strong 1v1. You'll do bonus damage onto that target after you proc the Eclipse. You'll have a small shield, so you don't get instantly one-shot. The Eclipse is super easy to proc with Kha Zix. You can still play fairly aggressive with this build, even though it's not a duskblade. You still have tons of damage, you still have hard carry potential, and it works really well in lower elos. I'll typically do this build into, again, tanks who have to come up with some specific situations. Sejuani, a Sack, a Ramis, a Mumu, and then I'll build it into bruisers and some assassins. So some examples would be a Xin Zhao, a Trundle in the jungle, and then for assassins, a Rengar. You can try it into Diana. I have been trying it into Kayn, can't really tell if it's that good, but into Rengar and Diana definitely it is viable. The cons are then that you're still really squishy. You still need to respect enemy CC and enemy shields and basically like enemy team comp. You kinda are weak at team fights, so in case the enemy team groups up, just evolve your W, throw the W out constantly, wait for preferably someone in your team comp has some engage, and wait for them to engage first, and then you jump in with them. Or if you're really fed, or if you don't really have any type of engage, then try and come around from the side or from behind and go straight into the enemy backline. Don't try and walk through the enemy frontline, because that's never gonna work. Or if that doesn't work, then if you have a strong split pusher, send that one guy into the side lane, have the rest of your team group up, so there would be one person in the top lane, 3 people in the mid lane, and then you would basically be hovering between top and mid in the jungle to try and catch anyone rotating, either to try and defend the wave on top lane, or trying to rotate from top down to mid to fight. Basically anyone that's rotating that area, you're ready there to fight them, and hopefully you just win that 1v1 against them super easily, super fast, and then you're basically in a 5v4 situation and you can start pushing. So yeah, those are the pros and the cons of the build. I will say that this build will work anywhere from Iron towards Master. I will say that this build is not a build that you should do every single game. But again, if you are in those situations where you're playing as a bruiser, a tank in a jungle, and you can't really one-shot, or you can't really pop off in team fights, then again, it's better to do an Eclipse and then still have some work to do, like do a little bit more extra damage with the Eclipse passive, get some shields, be able to tank a little bit more, rather than having a duskblade that you can't really proc because the enemy team comp just doesn't really allow it. So yeah, I wouldn't say do this every single game. Look at the enemy team comp and figure out, can I one-shot? Can I pop off in team fights? If you can, go for the duskblade. If you can't, go for this Eclipse build. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to leave a like. If you want to see more, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And always, I hope to see you guys in my next YouTube video or on my next live stream on Twitch. Thank you for watching.